2, and 1. We are live. Hi guys. Happy Wednesday. Happy after Thanksgiving. I hope your week, I hope your weekend, I hope everything went well with family. So, even if it went well, it's important for you to allow yourself to check in. Allow yourself to settle back into your body. Allow yourself to know that most likely you're very tired, and that's absolutely normal. When we go through different experiences, they're going to take our energy. When we go through different experiences that include travel or include something that's really not so much brand new, but new to our routine, different family, different cooking, different time, on our feet, shopping, doing this, doing that, all these other things that are now in our being, all of that takes up so much more energy, so much more of our thinking. So it's going to be zapping into things that we aren't used to using. It's also going to be taking out, so if your immune system's not doing too well, it's going to be taking out extra energy there. So it'll feel a little bit depleted. And you might be coming out of the holidays going, well, that was really good. Why do I feel so down? Why do I feel so heavy? Well, most likely it's because you're tired. Most likely it's because you burned extra energy, extra thought units, extra experience of your being, and you maybe haven't replenished it yet. And so it's such a good thing to be so mindful of that and check in and go, this is a normal experience when I've given so much more than what I'm used to. That's it. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the situation. It doesn't mean anything's bad or wrong. Instead, it's here to remind you to go, oh, this was a lot of big changes, a lot of big things. Plus, if we overate, that's even a lot on our system. And most of us did. So there's that too. So being kind, being understanding, being gracious with your mind, your body, your spirit. Noticing the emotions that are coming up and what are they asking for. Now, that's a whole other topic on itself, but if there's any questions you have about that, like, well, I have these thoughts and these emotions and this is coming up and I don't understand it, let me know and we'll talk about that. For today, we're going to get into some becoming really aware and mindful ideas on how you can really take a look at your whole experience and enjoy it more. So as you're going through this, give yourself this opportunity to grow and just go, oh, that's all this is. So first of all, remembering you're tired. You've had all this stuff going on. Oh, look at the little thumbs up. Thanks so much for the thumbs up. It's different now. Now it's a little bubble. I love bubbles. It's a bubble thumb. Anyways. Shiny. Hi, Sandy. Thanks so much for being here. And those of you who are on, let me know if you have any questions as we're going through this, because I want to make sure to address it for you. Now, here's an activity that you can practice with what we just talked about. Allow yourself to just jot down or put in the notes in your phone or speak them into your phone if you don't like to write too much. And just think about, what was it that I enjoyed? And it could be silly things like, oh, I enjoyed when we were laughing about that silly joke. Or it was so funny when everybody was laughing when that person passed gas. Like, it doesn't have to be anything big, but something that had you go, oh, that's great. And just really connect. And sometimes it could just be, I was so glad they came to visit. I was so glad I went to visit them. So for myself, Noe and I went to go visit his mom because his dad passed away. And it was so beautiful. And I love how we just jumped and went in the car and we drove 3 hours and we just spent from like around 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. just letting her talk and letting her be and letting her share. And sometimes the same stories again and again. But just being there felt so good, and letting her just be in her memories and be in her sad and be in her happy and be in all these different emotions that she was having. It felt so good. So allow yourself to write that down, and it helps you to really relive that. It's like having a happy journal, a joyful journal. You could take a look at the stuff that really bothered you. You could jot that down somewhere separately, because that may need some additional attention. It just means it pushed some kind of button that may need some attention, or it just need the attention of, yeah, that bothered me. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes just giving our thoughts and our emotions some attention is all it needs, right? Like a little kid, oh, okay, I'm fine. just giving it that attention can really help. So that's allowing yourself to really be mindful. And the reason you're writing it down or speaking it into your phone is it brings all of your senses back into enjoying that moment. And so the cool thing about our subconscious mind is when we're practicing being in that moment, it literally is in that moment. So the subconscious mind is reliving it, it's re-experiencing it, it's feeling that joy again, that connection again, and it's just being there. Now guys, this works even for times that are long ago. So for example, if you're in, and this is the next point, if you're in a space where you're missing someone, you can allow yourself to write down such fun memories that you had with them during the holidays, during Thanksgiving, or during some fun time. And you could write it down and think about, what did it look like? What did it feel like when I was touching them? I touched their hand, or I gave them a hug, or I smelled their cologne or perfume. What was it like? I saw their hair looked like this, and I bet it felt like that. And when, so that's the smell. Was there a taste? Were you guys sharing any kind of foods? The subconscious mind re-experiences it like you're there. And so even if during the holiday you're missing your loved one, instead of missing them with pain and suffering and, oh, I'll never see you again, now we can get ourselves so entangled in that. Instead, I remember this time when you said this and you did that and we were together doing this. Oh my gosh, and I remember this. And it brings you to a different energy. It brings you into joy. It brings you into happiness. It brings you into love and connection with that loved one that you're missing. And your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. I did that. And I was thinking about my mom and dad the other day, and there was a lot of negative around my family and my relationship, but there were some good moments. And as I was thinking about those good moments, I was imagining being at the dinner table that we hardly ever used downstairs with my grandma. And my grandma was there, my dad was there, and my mom was there. I do remember feeling very afraid of my mom. But I also had that feeling of, it's so nice to have them all around because mom's gone and grandma's gone and dad, it's kind of been gone anyways, even though he's still alive. And so in that moment, it was like, this feels so good to feel them here. The feeling of like being there in that moment at the table, feeling the coolness of the table. The edge was a metal. Remembering, I didn't remember that normally. And as I was thinking about it, I remembered I was little, so they had me on the Yellow Pages book. This is back in the day. And there were two of them, the yellow and the white pages. Like, I don't remember stuff like that, but because I was letting myself go back to that memory, that came up, and it was just like, wow. And then throughout the day, I just felt like I visited with my mom. I felt like I visited with my grandma. I felt like I visited with my dad when he was like more so like my dad. And it was just like, wow. And even though I share this with you guys, I still have the human experiences of, wow, that felt so real, and it felt so connected and so loving. And I didn't have that many moments of that, but I brought it back today in my 46-year-old self, and it felt so good. And you can do that too, and you could bring a picture of them, and you could have it at the dinner table. I have a friend of mine who shares this, and I've had other clients who did the same. They'll put a picture of their loved ones that they want to have there at the dinner table, and there's a space at the head or the center or wherever it is to be able to see their smiles and to be able to connect with each other and be like, oh yeah, remember when they did that, and remember when they said that. And it's coming from joy versus pain and sadness only. And it's okay if we feel pain. It's okay if we feel sadness. But when it's overwhelmed with joy and connection, that takes away that suffering and that despair. And then the other thing is do what I just shared with you, stepping into the moments and the memories. So not only are you allowing the suffering to fade, stepping into all these joyful experiences and bringing those loved ones to you, but you're sharing those moments. You're letting others, like, hey, what do you remember about them? Even if you're having your holiday alone, you could call them. Hey, you know what? I was just thinking about when we did this. And remember when we did that? Oh, okay, tell me about it. What was it like for you? Let's imagine that we're back in that moment. Like, what were you thinking? What were you feeling? Like, do you remember what was the color of the tablecloth or the color of the table or the room or what we were wearing? Or like, it really brings you into those things, right? So you're jotting it down, allowing yourself to remember the current happy experiences you had. You're allowing yourself to remember your loved ones. Remember anyone you feel like isn't there that you're missing. Bringing that in, bringing in those memories, bringing in those experiences, bringing yourself right back to re-experience that. So in that moment, instead of crying and being in the pain of I miss you so much, and I could go there even as I'm saying it, instead coming back out going, oh my gosh, I remember when you were there. I'm thinking of my mom. You were there and we were playing with the dog, and the dog was brown and slobbery. It was like this, kind of like like a pit bull, bulldog mix thing. And we had a bubble gun, and it was like the bubbles were blowing, and the dog was so excited, and he was trying to chomp at the bubbles, and my mom was laughing hysterically. And as I think about that, it brings all of that in. And that's just an example of the same thing that you can do. And as you're doing that, you'll feel that happiness, you'll feel that joy, that memory comes right back to you, that experience comes right back to you as though you are in it. So practice those 3 things. And even if you weren't able to do it while you were spending the holiday, call your family up and be like, oh my gosh, remember this, remember that, remember this. And it could just be this week. Oh my gosh, remember when this happened? Remember when that happened? Oh, you know what? This was so annoying. I can't believe they said that. That was so crazy. And so even in what you might say is annoying or negative or whatever, you could find joy in it. You can find happiness in it. You can find that experience of connection. So I hope these 3 activities that I've shared with you, allowing yourself to create a journal, writing down what were the fun things from this holiday. You can allow yourself to write down what were the things that bothered you, see if it needs additional attention, and we can talk about it. We can go over what additional supports do you need there. Then the second thing is allowing yourself to connect with those that you missed, those that you weren't able to be there, and bring in those memories, bring in those experiences of joy, of connection, of why you miss them. What do you miss about them? What do you love about them? What would you love to tell them? And then you could also speak to them like, oh my gosh, Mom, this happened and that happened, or oh my gosh, Grandma, I was thinking about you when you made this. We're really connecting with them when we do that. Wherever it is that they are, wherever their energy is, energy doesn't die. You're connecting with their energy even though they may not be here in this time, in this moment. And so your being steps into joy, and it steps into excitement, it steps into happiness and connection, even in the midst of sadness, even in the midst of missing them. And during all this time, you're filling yourself up. You're filling yourself up like a well, right? I love to think about it like this beautiful well, beautiful bricks, beautiful water overhang, right? But you're filling yourself up so much so that so much water is filling up this water of life, and it's just flowing out of you so it can flow to others. And that's what you're doing when you practice this. Practice being in that moment of all the beautiful memories that you can think of. And the cool thing about your subconscious mind is it can bring up all the memories. This one and that one and that one and that one over all the years, over all the people that you could think of. And it brings so much joy and peace and happiness. And it can leave you in this bubble of warmth and gratitude and thanksgiving, and leave you feeling like you just want to smile all day long. And then reach out to others and ask them to do the same thing. Remember this and remember that. Share with me another good memory. And bring all of your senses into it. What do you remember? What did it look like? What was the sounds you were hearing? Who was talking? Who was laughing? Who was doing this? And if there was somebody doing something annoying that you'd like to complain about, laugh about it instead. Allowing yourself to think about, what were you feeling? Like, what was around you? What did the tablecloth feel like? Was it like a linen or a cotton? What was the colors? Was there anything puffy that you could touch? And then what were you feeling emotionally? Right? Bring all of your senses to it. What were you tasting? What were you smelling? Was there anything else if you closed your eyes? Oh yeah, the TV was over there, the window was over there, it was raining or sunny. Like, you can connect with so many things that you might not realize. And as you do that, you bring your body back into peace, back into joy, back into love. And as you're doing this, so the topic today, you'll actually see it in the description. The topic today is based on the holidays that just passed and the holidays that are coming. How to allow ourselves to enjoy and bring ourselves back down to recuperate from the holidays that just passed and all the busyness and the holidays that are coming as the busyness starts to kick up again. And so please do rewatch this if you weren't able to see it and you're just popping on, and you'll be able to see the different things where you're able to acknowledge the challenges. You're able to really acknowledge all the wonderful things that occurred, giving your emotions an opportunity to be acknowledged, giving your body an opportunity to calm, giving your mindfulness the ability to kind of connect in and how was I feeling, what was going on with my senses. Also being able to connect with the loved ones that you miss in a way that brings such joy and peace, even in the midst of sadness and grief and loss, any of those things going on. So I hope as you're connecting with this, you can see that you're celebrating that togetherness, even if you're not that close, even if you're far away in distance. And as you're looking ahead into the holidays coming, practicing this, bringing this experience in so it's feeling smoother. So you feel like you have these techniques to practice, that you're able to set your intention, that you're able to calm and notice any stress, managing that, calming that, shifting that. You're able to check in with what your thoughts are. You're able to check in with how you're feeling, checking in with what you need. And everything that we just practiced around Thanksgiving and the holidays past, you can begin to practice moving forward into the holidays coming. Hey, Lynn, good to see you. So to kind of recap everything, giving yourself all of these opportunities, take a look at the recap that I just shared with you. Rewatch this if you find this is really great for you. Rewatch it more than once, because as you allow yourself to compound the information, your subconscious mind totally gets this. Continue to practice that reflective exercise that we went over of the journaling, allowing yourself to look at all of these successes, all the fun, all the things that you have accomplished as your wins. And then even look at the stuff that annoyed you and let yourself laugh about it. Have fun about it. Not taking yourself or the situations too seriously. Connecting with your loved ones, whether they're near or far, whether they're here or whether they've passed. That gives you all of these beautiful mindful techniques so you don't have to feel so overwhelmed with energy, so you don't have to feel drained. And as you're doing these practices, breathe the whole time. Continue to breathe, continue to calm your mind, continue to calm your body as you're reconnecting, as you're remembering and memorializing. And you're just feeling good and calm, and you're stepping back into this beautiful being that you were created to be. Because you are created in such a magnificent way. You do not have to feel stressed out or overwhelmed or feeling like you can't get through, feeling drained, judging yourself because you feel these things. Instead, you get to feel content. It gets to feel smooth. It gets to have ease. And you get to know you're doing a great job. You're doing absolutely amazing. You get to acknowledge yourself. Those are successes you get to really step into. And if you have any questions about anything I shared with you, let me know, because that's what I'm here for. I do this every Wednesday, and I'm answering questions and giving you tools that you're asking about. So let me know specifically what questions you've had, how this works, what's the concern where you're like, I've tried that, didn't quite work. Then I can actually take your questions, take your concerns, take your ideas, and address them into next week's topic as well. All right, you guys. Know that you're loved. Know that you're cared for. Know that you are so important. Bring it in. Big squishy hugs. And know that all those things are true, whether you like it or not. You have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Wednesday. You take care of you and know that you are absolutely wonderful and you are created to do great things. Ciao for now.